Yeah, it's going.
Okay.
All right, here I go.
Right, go ahead. All right.
Hello everyone. In today's video, I'm continuing my series on the Rocky franchise. In today's video, I'm going to be reviewing Rocky IV from 1985. Rocky IV was once again written, directed, and starred Sylvester Stallone. Talia Sheri, Burt Young, Carl Weathers, and all reprised their role from the first three movies. Dolph Lundgren plays Ivan Drago, a Russian boxer, Rocky's opponent, and Brigitte Nielsen plays Ivan Drago's wife, who was once Sylvester Stallone's real-life wife at the time when they made this movie. Rocky IV was released on November 27, 1985. The film grossed $300.4 million at the box office. It was considered mixed to average amongst critics and audiences at the time of its release. In Rocky IV, Apollo Creed comes out of retirement to fight Ivan Drago. Apollo Creed loses the fight to Ivan Drago and he dies in the ring. Rocky comes out of retirement to fight Ivan Drago to avenge Apollo Creed. He goes to Russia to train with no distractions, to only focus on fighting Ivan Drago. Rocky IV is a hit or miss among Rocky fans, which I can see why. I do see the film's ups and downs. To me personally, it's okay. I mean, I don't think it's the best Rocky movie. The movie does have like its highlights and its moments at times. Like, here's what I'm going to talk about right now. What the heck was up with the robot in this movie for Paulie? It was a birthday gift for Paulie, then Paulie reprogrammed to be his girlfriend robot, which is kind of weird and creepy. But then after that, it's never explained again after that, because the robot in this movie has nothing to do with the plot and the story. It's just another, like, weird, awkward moment of the series. When I first saw Rocky IV as a teenager, just like in Rocky III, seeing Mickey died, it also made me sad and cry when Apollo Creed died, especially how, like, after what happened in Rocky III, when we saw Apollo's good side and helped Rocky win the fight against Clubber Lang, you grew to like Apollo Creed, and it's almost like we really did lose a best friend. Even though I've seen this film so many times, I know what happens, but a part of me, like, makes me, like, imagine, like, an alternate reality where Rocky did stop the fight to help save Apollo from dying in the fight, but at the same time, we all know the sad story of what happens to Apollo Creed in this film. The part when Rocky's in Russia with Paulie and Apollo's trainer, Tony Duke. When Tony Duke says that he raised Apollo like a son and a part of me died, I feel like that's how we all feel every time we watch this movie. Rocky's opponent, Ivan Drago, unlike Clubber Lang in the last film, who was a big mouth trash talker, Ivan Drago does not really talk that much in the movie. He's like the Frankenstein on steroids. I'm not really sure if that's the best analogy, but you get the idea. He's mean, he's tough, he's strong, he's intimidating, and very scary. Even I wouldn't want to fight him. I feel like out of all like Rocky's opponents, this one is the hardest for Rocky. I'll never forget the first time I saw this as a teenager. I was scared for Rocky to fight this guy. I honestly thought Rocky was going to die in this movie the same way Apollo died. The film follows the same format as the last film, but a little different. No, at this point in the Rocky franchise, the training montages are a tradition. According to Rocky fans, this movie is 20% training montage, 12% comedy, 30% action, and 36% drama. Rocky fans pointing out how like 20% of this film being training montage. This is where like the flaw is pointed out among Rocky fans, which I can see why at times. But when you stop to think about it for like 5 minutes, you kind of like have to understand that the reason why like half the film is like a training montage, because that was the whole point for Rocky, to just focus on training Ivan Drago, because when you think about it, Ivan Drago is a tough opponent for Rocky, and Rocky wanted to make sure that he was only focusing on like one thing with no distractions to fight Ivan Drago, worrying about if he didn't like focus on training, like what if he didn't do so well against Ivan Drago, not like the same way as like Apollo Creed didn't really train prior to fighting Ivan Drago. In my opinion, this is probably like some of the best training montage of the Rocky series. It also has like some of the best like music of the Rocky soundtrack of the training montages. When I was a teenager in high school, here's actually a little good like analogy. When I was like so mad and frustrated in high school, I used to like blast this music all the time to get my frustration out. In high school, I used to pretend that taking a test was like going up against a fight, depending on which subject it was. One example, math and science was not one of my strengths in school. To me, math and science was like fighting against Ivan Drago. I could use other examples, but I don't want to get off topic or off track. Maybe in the video I might do a separate thing about what school subjects for me were against like either Apollo, Clubber Lang, or Ivan Drago. One thing I forgot to mention about the training montage of this film, it's cool seeing how like with the editing tricks back and forth with Ivan Drago and Rocky training back and forth between the two. Between Rocky and Ivan Drago is pretty awesome. It has pretty cool like punching sound effects, and also like when the bell rings like ding 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 for round per round. I was happy to see Rocky beat Ivan Drago after when he lost Apollo Creed. I love the speech he gives at the end of the movie, but I won't even say like what happens. Just watch it. It's just so like great. First Rocky film represented, this film goes in a different direction. It gets out of its comfort zone and changes it up by focusing on Cold War themes. Soviet boxers versus American boxers. On Rocky IV. As of today, Rocky IV is the highest grossing film of the Rocky series. Arnold Schwarzenegger trained Dolph Lundgren for the part for this movie. This is one of the few Rocky films that does not have a training montage at the Philadelphia Art Museum. Stallone has confirmed that he's not including Paulie's robot scenes in the Rocky IV director's cut. Audition for the role of Ivan Drago. Dolph Lundgren was turned down by casting directors, and Sylvester Stallone advised him that if he gained 20 pounds of muscle, he will get the part, and he did. Four was supposed to be like 1 hour longer, but in the end, the final cut ended up being like 1 hour and 30 minutes, the shortest of the Rocky series. Early draft scripts had Mr. T reprising his role as Clubber Lang. Stallone ranks this movie 7 out of 10 of the Rocky series. Rocky movie that Sylvester Stallone directed until Rocky Balboa 2006. Because of the Cold War, Soviet boxers and American boxers were not allowed to fight each other during this time. Rocky movie in the series not to be composed by Bill Conti and not used Gonna Fly Now. Despite playing Russian characters, none of the actors in these films are Russian. Dolph Lundgren is Swedish, and Brigitte Nielsen is Danish, and all the other actors are American. Rocky IV came out during the time when the Cold War was really getting intense. And according to producer Rob Kardoff, he looked at Ivan Drago as the enemy and the fear of what the US feared with the Soviet Union. In 2010, Dolph Lundgren said in an interview that he doesn't have any Ivan Drago stuff because it was stolen in a robbery over 20 years ago. Sylvester Stallone and Dolph Lundgren were filming the fight scenes. Dolph Lundgren hit Sylvester Stallone so hard in the ribs that he had to be rushed to the hospital in the emergency room. His blood pressure went up to 200. Sylvester Stallone's heart slammed up against his breastbone. Dolph Lundgren's idea to make Ivan Drago stoic, not move much, and intimidate in the presence. Sylvester Stallone incorporated this idea into the character. Tony Duke, Apollo and Rocky's trainer. The scene where he's having a chess match with a Russian opponent. In real life, he was a frequent chess player. He played chess with Stanley Kubrick on the set of The Shining and beat Stanley Kubrick at chess. Set in Russia were filmed in Wyoming. The boxing scenes with Rocky and Ivan Drago were filmed in British Columbia, Canada. And who plays Ivan Drago's wife in the movie was in real life married to Sylvester Stallone around the time this movie was made. They were married for 2 years. Despite Rocky IV being Dolph Lundgren's breakout as an actor, it was not his first film. His first movie was A View to Kill, a James Bond film where he had a small minor part as a bodyguard. And Dolph Lundgren did not get along when they made this movie. During rehearsal for the boxing scenes, Carl Weathers stormed off offset shouting profanity at Dolph Lundgren and said he would quit the movie. Sylvester Stallone told Carl Weathers to reconcile with Dolph Lundgren. In recent years, Dolph Lundgren has admitted in interviews that he did not have any problems with Carl Weathers, but he does admit that he did storm off offset only because he was intimidated by Dolph Lundgren's size. That was my review on Rocky IV. Hope you liked the video. Please like the video, subscribe, and hit that notification button to get my latest updates on my channel.